While Master Kagaya is excited about the defeat of one of the upper six Kizuki, the other five of them meet in Muzan's Infinity Castle. These Kizuki are, in order of rank name from 1 to 5, Kokushibo, Doma, Akaza, Hantengu, and Gyoko. Muzan arrives and tells them how disappointed and frustrated he is in the fact that an upper-rank demon has been killed for the first time in over a century, and that none of them have found the blue spider lily. He tasks Gyoko and Hantengu with a new mission, after Gyoko reveals some information to him. Muzan makes it very clear that the Kizuki upper ranks need to act with more urgency. Doma wants to tag along with Gyoko. It is revealed that Akaza has a major problem with Doma, who became a demon after he did, but somehow became his superior in the Kizuki ranking. Stepping in to stop them fighting, Kokushibo freezes Akaza in his place by reminding him that if he is so unhappy with the rankings, he can always challenge either himself or Doma. We see a flashback far into the past through Tanjiro's fever dream as he lays in the infirmary healing from the Daki/Gyutaro battle last season. In the flashback, we see a demon slayer wearing the same earrings as Tanjiro, telling Sumiyoshi, who looks like Tanjiro without his scar, that he should not be worshipped for helping them, and that there is no need to give his name to Sumiyoshi's heir. Awakening from his dream, Tanjiro is surrounded by well-wishers, including Inosuke, who leaps onto him from the ceiling. As it turns out, he has been unconscious for 2 months. Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Tengen are already back in active duty. And a week after waking up, Tanjiro is also up and about and doing his rehabilitation with great commitment. He wants a new sword to replace the one he damaged in his big battle. But Haganezuka has already written, refusing to waste another blade on such a careless demon slayer. Tanjiro travels, therefore, to the ultra-top-secret Swordsmith Village to get a new nichirin blade. The location of the village must be kept so confidential, due to it being the only known place that nichirin blades are forged. No Swordsmith Village equals no slaying those pesky demons. Finally arriving at the beautifully built village that is in a picturesque little valley, Tanjiro meets the village chief who states that Haganezuka has gone missing, but is sure to show up soon whether he likes it or not. In the meantime, Tanjiro makes himself at home and is generally treated as an honored guest in the village. He marvels at how hard all the swordsmiths work in the many foundries throughout the village to provide the nichirin blades that allow the Demon Slayer Corps any success at all against Muzan and his forces. Tanjiro is found by the large-breasted love Hashira, Mitsuri Kanroju. He also meets up with Genya Shinazagawa, the younger brother of the Wind Hashira and also the aggressive guy who passed the Mizunoto final selection trials back in Season 1. The next day, Tanjiro is walking through the forest on the outskirts of the village looking for a village secret, quote-unquote, and comes across the Mist Hashira, Muichiro Tokito, beating up a small village boy who is trying to stop him taking an ancient mechanical training doll who looks exactly like the guy from Tanjiro's dream. Tanjiro confronts Muichiro, who easily knocks him down and proceeds to take the battle training doll. Haganezuka appears to help the unconscious Tanjiro but runs away again as soon as he regains consciousness. Kotetsu, the miserable young village boy, tells Tanjiro that the doll is 300 years old and realizes that Tanjiro saw the vision of the Demon Slayer, whom the doll was built in the image of, through an inherited memory. Tanjiro spends a long time under threat of starvation training to become strong enough to defeat the doll, and only manages to do so once he learns to use his scent to preemptively avoid and strike his mechanical opponent. Not only does this level him up, metaphorically, but when he chops off the doll's face, a 300-year-old sword is revealed. Much to his and Kotetsu's disappointment, the sword is, well, in about the condition you'd expect it to be after 300 years, dull and rusty. Haganezuka shows up and forcefully takes the sword in order to restore it, leaving Tanjiro a temporary replacement sword. He's been hiding in the mountains in order to improve enough to make a sword strong enough for Tanjiro's battle needs. Tanjiro rests and tries to become homies with Genya, who definitely doesn't want this. But there is a bigger problem afoot, as Gyoko and Hantengu have acted on Gyoko's information and breached the Swordsmith Village. Hantengu grovels as he approaches Tanjiro, Muichiro, and Nezuko before getting easily beheaded by Muichiro. He then splits in two, becoming the two demons Karaku and Sekido. After these two are beheaded by Genya, they split again, and the flying Urogi grabs Tanjiro and treats him to an ear-splitting sonic attack. Muichiro, running through the forest, saves Kotetsu from one of Gyoko's minion spells. He then decides to heed some long-lost instructions from Demon Slayer Corps leader Kagaya and goes to save some swordsmiths. He is trying to regain his memories after a highly damaging experience in the past. Meanwhile, Tanjiro has figured out the four demons that sprouted from Hantengu are actually representative of the four emotions: anger, sorrow, pleasure, and joy. He continues to think on his feet, and during an intense fight with Urogi that takes him back to the others, he realizes that by continuously beheading the four demons, they can be severely weakened. He also learns that cutting their tattooed tongues slows their recovery time. Genya, meanwhile, is just flat out refusing to die despite injuries that should have wiped him out. The giant wind force from Karaku's battle fan knocks Tanjiro and Nezuko out, after Tanjiro takes the fight to lightning staff-wielding Sekido, using the severed foot of the bird-like Urogi. Luckily, Mitsuri is rushing back to the village to help. Muichiro shows his immense perception when, on the way to being given a new sword kept in Kozo's forge, he spots Gyoko sitting stationary and disguised in his vase, and picks him immediately for what he is. Meanwhile, the village chief is having the life squeezed out of him by another of Gyoko's amphibian-esque vase minions. Mitsuri arrives in the nick of time and reveals her flexible, streamer-like, pink-edged nichirin blade in order to strike the creature with love-breathing first form, shivers of first love. She catches the chief as he falls, making him feel like he is on cloud 9. Tanjiro and Nezuko are repeatedly attacked by the four emotion demons as he flees the scene with Nezuko, and she becomes pinned under debris. Muichiro and his two accompanying swordsmiths are treated, quote-unquote, to Gyoko's art installation, a pillar of impaled and pinned together swordsmiths that he has torturously gathered on his way here. Muichiro cuts Gyoko's beastly presentation with a missed attack, and their battle ensues. He becomes impaled with flying needles that are laced with debilitating poison. Gyoko further disables him with his blood demon art, Water Prison Pot. He is unable to use any breathing techniques and will soon drown. Back with Tanjiro, Nezuko has gripped and coated his blade with her demonic blood, and now sets it ablaze using her blood demon art form. This transforms it into a crimson, exploding blood sword. Tanjiro is subjected to another inherited memory, and realizes that his true strength comes from the support he has been given by his friends and family up to this point, and he must repay all that they have done for him by winning this battle. Unleashing Hinokami Kagura Sun Halo Dragon Head Dance with his almighty dragon-like sun flame sword, he simultaneously decapitates 3 of the 4 emotion demons. Searching for the 4th and final demon to behead, he sees that Genya has already done the job for him somehow. But as he turns to face Tanjiro, we see that Genya has pointed teeth and demonic-looking black eyes. Despite this new complication, Tanjiro and Genya notice that the 4 emotion demons are not dying despite being simultaneously beheaded. Genya yells in Tanjiro's face that he will be the one to kill the demon and become a Hashira, and our boy Tanjiro just smiles and states his wholehearted support, surprising Genya. The 4 emotions regenerate, and Tanjiro holds them off while Nezuko and Genya go to find the missing one. Nezuko becomes badly impaled. Tanjiro, now all glowed and growed up with his red blade, easily matches and even outpaces the attacks of the four, and Nezuko sets her attacker ablaze with her gushing blood. Genya finds the field mouse-sized final demon, who scampers away. His blade snaps on its neck, and nor does his shotgun harm it. Sensing an attack from behind from Sekido, his world goes into slow motion, and we see his backstory in a flashback. His father beat his tiny, amazing mother when he was young. One night, a demon transformed his mother, and his older brother, Sonemi, fought her off and carried her out of the house to let the sunlight kill her. But not before she had killed all 5 of Genya's little siblings in a demonic rage. Back in the present, we learn that Genya can't use breathing techniques, and he is nearly taken out before Tanjiro comes to his aid. He in turn blocks a ranged blast from hitting Tanjiro, which turns him to Swiss cheese, but somehow still doesn't kill him. Tanjiro chases and swings at the 5th tiny demon. His crimson, exploding blood blade strikes its neck, and he senses a new demon behind him as the blood on his nichirin blade burns out. He is hit with an acoustically generated blast by the new mystery demon. He realizes that this new enemy is the 4 emotions combined to become the protector of the 5th dwarf demon. He shields the tiny main body of Hantengu. Genya has arrived, but his strength is sapped by the mere voice of the new combo demon, who self-righteously admonishes Tanjiro for attacking a weak, defenseless being. Tanjiro retorts that he smells the blood of hundreds of innocent humans on the demon to stop playing the guilt card, and that he will be the one to decapitate it. Zohakuten, the combo demon, creates wooden dragons and attacks Tanjiro with them using his several back-mounted drums. Meanwhile, Gyoko mocks Muichiro in his water prison. The Hashiro internally apologizes for failing everyone and prepares to die. As he muses over a voice that questions why he needs to die, Gyoko enters the shed that's right there and finds Haganezuka completing his 3 days and 3 nights of sharpening what turns out to be the most perfect blade he has ever encountered. He is so hyper-focused on his task that even Gyoko's many slashes at his back and eye cannot deter him. Kotetsu is attacked by a demonic minion as he foolishly attempts to save Muichiro. Muichiro recalls his father, who shares the same colored eyes as Tanjiro, telling him that humans are capable of amazing things, but only when they are doing so for others. He somehow manages to summon superhuman focus and blast out of his watery cage, helped by what little air Kotetsu was able to blow into the water. Feeling numb from the many poison needles, Muichiro once again hears his father, who tells him to stand up. We now see his origin story flashback. His father was a woodsman, and both his parents died when he was 10 years old. His older twin brother, Yuichiro, cynical at a young age due to their tragic circumstances, was wounded by a demon after refusing demon slayer training from Kagaya's wife, Amane. Muichiro was forced to and succeeded in defeating his brother's attacker before watching Yuichiro's final moments, further marking his life with tragedy. This experience, sadly and ironically, is what accelerates Muichiro's powers, making marks appear on his body. Back in the present day, he clears the area around the shack with mist-breathing 4th form, shifting flow slash, and heads into the shed to protect the swordsmiths and their swords. Gyoko is jealous of Haganezuka's focus, so fixated and distracted by this jealousy that he is wounded by Muichiro's approach. A giant spongy octopus is sliced cleanly with Muichiro's new sword as Haganezuka continues to sharpen the ancient nichirin blade. Muichiro taunts Gyoko, causing him to up the stakes with thousands of tiny attacking fish. Muichiro cuts through these like butter and uses mist-breathing 3rd form, scattering mist splash, in order to blow their poisonous blood cloud away. Gyoko sheds his skin, revealing his serpentine mermaid hybrid true ultimate form. Muichiro maintains a cool, calm exterior, and brutally taunts Gyoko's abilities. He remembers watching his dead brother rot and become infested with maggots as he lay dying next to him, before being saved on the brink of death by Lady Amane. Now, he uses mist-breathing 7th form, obscuring clouds, to decrease Gyoko's visibility, which counters the demon's vast speed advantage. Gyoko is confused by the continuous appearing and vanishing. The young Hashira reveals himself, decapitates the Kizuki, and slashes his head into hundreds of tiny pieces. Muichiro feels a sense of peaceful self-knowing and feels sure of his identity. He promptly begins foaming at the mouth and collapses, content but completely exhausted. Back in the battle against the wooden dragons, Tanjiro, Nezuko, and Genya are struggling. Mistakenly thinking that he is out of its range, Tanjiro is yanked into a wooden dragon's mouth and begins to be slowly and agonizingly crushed inside. Cue Mitsuri, who comes in and slashes the dragon into firewood before attacking Zohakuten head-on. Exchanging trash talk before they begin striking blows, Zohakuten labels Mitsuri a shameless tramp before letting loose the crazed cry of thunder death straight at her. She counters immediately with love-breathing 3rd form, cat love shower, demonstrating just how powerful she is as she slashes straight through the demonic attack. She further shows her unique skills and sword technique as she flits her whip-like sword around her, utilizing love-breathing 2nd form, love pangs, and 6th form, cat-legged wings of love to reduce yet another 2 wooded dragons to sawdust. Zohakuten is spooked by her speed and so immediately unleashes Blood Demon Art Countless Striking Trees, a widespread attack to counter her skills. Mitsuri perseveres, using love-breathing 5th form Swaying Love Wild Claw, before leaping right into point-blank range of her foe and encircling his neck with her sword like a razor-sharp noose. Tanjiro yells to her, too late, that Zohakuten is not the main demon body, and the demon ruthlessly hits her point-blank with his compressed sound waves attack. She is severely dazed, and he moves in to beat her skull to a pulp. In this moment, we see Mitsuri's backstory and how she was born with a huge appetite and gargantuan strength. She was rejected by a prospective husband due to the unusual color of her hair, and so she tried to hide her true self. She joined the Demon Slayer Corps, finding acceptance there. Back in the present, she is tackled out of the way by Tanjiro, Nezuko, and Genya, before blocking another ranged attack and jumping straight back into the fray. She tasks the others with finding the main body before increasing her heart rate and circulation, and goes into full Hashira boss mode, sending it to everything Zohakuten throws at her. Tanjiro uses his superhuman sense of smell and leads Nezuko and Genya through the forest to a giant knot of wood, the hiding place of Hantengu. Genya strikes it with his nichirin blade, activating its defenses, and begins ripping into the demonic wood fibers with his teeth. He reveals that when he consumes demon flesh, he is able to become a demon himself for a short period of time, and when he imbibes stronger demon flesh, as he has done just now, he is mega strong and regenerative for that time. He severs the main knot from the body of the wooden column holding it, and Tanjiro moves in. He is relentlessly whipped by small vines, but Nezuko aids him by setting them alight with her demon blood attack. All to no avail, however, as Hantengu has escaped his refuge and run away. Nezuko, Genya, and Tanjiro race after him, but he is so fast that Tanjiro realizes all he has to do is continue running until Mitsuri and also his squad runs out of stamina, and the demon can escape soon at daybreak. Tanjiro has injured his left foot, and as a result, cannot run away any faster. But then remembers Zenitsu, of all people, telling him that he could not master true total concentration until he has been fully aware of each body part. He channels all of his strength into his legs and literally rockets towards Hantengu, catching up in an instant and striking his blade against his neck. Got him. Right? Nope. The diminutive demon asks if Tanjiro has no sympathy for someone small like him, before transforming into a giant, towering over the young demon slayer and gripping his head with both hands, squeezing the life out of him. Genya arrives and manages to pull the gigantic hands apart, with the help of Nezuko's demon blood-burning attack. Tanjiro's blade is now partly lodged in the neck of his foe, but they both tumble over a cliff. Hantengu arises first from the ground, arms detached and not healing quickly enough, and staggers away. Tanjiro gets up and gives chase, trying to get the upper sixth Kizuki before it can get to some Swordsmith villagers to eat them and regain strength. Muichiro appears and throws the now partially sharpened 300-year-old blade, which Tanjiro picks up before flying forward again in a last-ditch effort, using total concentration dancing flash. He reaches his foe and slashes through his neck with ease, finally slicing its head off. Any feelings of victory are short-lived, though. Daybreak is coming, and Nezuko is unprotected. Strangely, though, she is running towards Hantengu. Tanjiro realizes that he has not beheaded the main body at all, and the beheaded body still runs towards the villagers. The sun rises, and Nezuko begins to scream in agony as her flesh writhes and burns. Tanjiro tries unsuccessfully to shield her, and knows that Hantengu will manage to reach the villagers before it burns to death. This impossible dilemma, to either save his little sister or the villagers, roots him to the spot, and with no one left nearby to help him. Nezuko, his junior and most closely beheld companion, makes the decision for him. She kicks him clear of her, and he has to watch her burn as he flies away. He realizes her sacrifice, however, and chases the headless demon down. He uses his sense of smell to realize that the main body is in fact hiding in the heart of the large body, and he quickly dispatches it. We see that Hantengu, when human, was a thief and murderer who refused to ever take the blame. Now, as a demon finally being beheaded, he seems surprised at the memory of his past actions. He disintegrates in an instant. Tanjiro weeps over Nezuko's fate before, against all odds and totally unbelievably, Nezuko walks up to him completely unharmed. Tanjiro embraces her before collapsing. We see that Mitsuri has reached the end of her stamina and gets swallowed by a wooden dragon before it and Zohakuten disintegrate before her eyes. Muzan, in his young boy disguise many miles away, senses what Nezuko has achieved and quickly kills his assumed family in his adult form and leaves the house. We see his demonic origins now. He was an ill young man that succumbed to his sickness, quote-unquote, that was actually his transformation into the world's first demon. He became extremely powerful, eating countless humans, but found being unable to go out into the daylight humiliating. He sought two solutions to this problem, one being to recreate the elusive blue spider lily medication that his original doctor had given him before he became a demon, and the other to find a demon that could somehow survive the sun. He has now found that demon. Back in the Swordsmith Village, Tanjiro and his companions rejoice, despite Haganezuka trying to beat him up for using his only partially sharpened sword. Tamayo, the demon researcher, believes that Nezuko can overcome the destructive nature of the sun as her cells are mutating much more quickly than all other demons. Tanjiro leaves the village, having saved it from destruction, in a hero send-off from the villagers, smiling ear to ear. And that's the end of this season. I can't wait for the next one. Okay, guys, remember to comment, like, subscribe. We check all the comments and we try to reply back to as many as we can. See you next time for the next amazing anime recap.